Welcome to this video review, and today I'm going to talk about let's say this year's new Axion 2 LRF XG35 thermal monocular with laser range-finding capabilities made by Pulsar. As you probably know, these devices were first shown at EVA 2022. A lot of things happened since that time, and you also probably know that Pulsar is one of the leading manufacturers of thermal imaging solutions. They're based in Lithuania, so they're also one of the few producers of devices inside of EU. Even though now a lot of brands are entering this market, European brands, a lot of them are just outsourcing products. Even big brands like Zeiss, they outsource their products from China. Pulsar is really different in this regard. They do produce all these devices by themselves. I have visited their factory a couple of times, so it's nice to see that things are still done in Europe. So now in 2022 they came out with a replacement for the Axion XQ models, XQ38, and they came out with 4 different models. So now you have 2 XQ models with laser range finding or without, and you have 2 XG models. One of them is now here. The XG models are very special because they feature a new sensor with 640 by 480 pixels of resolution in a really compact device. Pulsar didn't produce Axion's XQ, well, this size of Axions with such a big sensor before. They also still produce the XM models of Axions, which have a different housing. They are much smaller. They also use smaller batteries, not this APS-5, but they use APS-3 batteries. So the price of this device is 2,790 euros, and when you look at the sensor specification and lens specification, this is by far the most affordable device in its class. But when you look at the optical performance, it's also one of the best performing devices in its class. So Pulsar is always, I would say, undercutting the competition on price and killing them with over delivering in terms of optical performance. The warranty of this device is 3 years, even though we know that they will service them even longer. And with service, with the fact that they have service in Lithuania, you feel much safer than with other devices. This first part I would like to dedicate to build quality and materials and so on. I will speak about optical performance later, and at the end, you know that I always go through the sweet and sour part and the competition, which is usually the most viewed part of these reviews. So this device is roughly 350 grams, 50 grams more than the non-LRF version of this device. So this is an XG35 without an LRF. These devices are all made out of magnesium housings. They are waterproofed with a standard of IPX7. That means they can be submerged to 1 meter for 30 minutes. They work from -25 to +50. If you look at the size, 15 centimeters, 7.5 and 7.5. Really compact, even though honestly speaking infrared finder are even more compact than this. The startup time is around 5 seconds, a little bit less. Please check our blog posts or videos about real startup time, because we measure real startup time and ready to use time, because usually the producers are not always writing the right or the honest information about this. In our experience and from all the tests and so on, Pulsar is always the closest when we talk about what they say and what the reality is like. Because some other producers, I will not name them, they say that their device says power up in 5 seconds, and then we see that ready to use time is sometimes 30 seconds. So in this respect, Pulsar is also on top of their game. When we speak about the housing, there is a power indicator on top of it, which is, at least for me, of great use and a really nice feature. Then a quirk like this, there is a magnet inside of a carrying strap, a hand strap, which doesn't, I would say it doesn't look like something important, but when you're using it out in the field, this is one of the nicest things you can imagine. Okay, so let's speak about the sensor. So the sensor is 640 by 480. To get it in such a small housing, they needed to make it really small, so the pixel pitch is 12 microns. And this, normally there is always a debate what is better, 17 microns, 12 microns. I will not go into it. I can say that the optical performance of this device is just astonishing. Normally refresh rate is 50 Hz. There is NATD value, so noise equivalent thermal difference. That means how much has to be the thermal difference between 2 points that the device is able to distinguish them separately. And that's only 40 millikelvins, so that's really good, even though Pulsar offers some devices which even have this value of 25 millikelvins, which is really, really great. The device has 3 calibration modes, and it goes with a magnification from 2.5 all the way to 20. With this 35mm fast aperture lens, the aperture is 1. You also get almost 220 meters of field of view on 1000 meters and a range of detection of 1750 meters. So you are going into the territory of Helion XP50, almost. So with a device which is much smaller and which has an additional LRF option. 8 color modes. What else to say? If you look at the eyepiece, you're able to use it with your glasses. I use glasses and I have no problems using this device. And focusing in front, which goes all the way down to 3 meters, and on the other side to infinity. I said 3 meters because I tried it, maybe it's 4, but still the close focus is really, really close, you will never need it. When we talk about the menus and button positions, you see that the Axion Generation 2 got an additional button here on top for range finding, a really, really good thing. And standard 4, which there always were, even with the previous model, the menu plus up and down and the power button. I am still missing the button for videos and photos, but on a device that small, it's really hard to know where to place it. So I do understand a little bit why they have done it. When we look at the menus a little bit closer, you see that short press of the button gives you the basic menu, like always with Pulsar's, brightness, contrast and similar stuff. The longer push of the button gives you advanced menu, where you're able to change the color modes, the identification modes, well, the operation modes and so on. There's also 16 gigabytes of internal memory for photos and videos, and normally Wi-Fi connectivity with a smart with the Stream Vision application, which is now in the second generation even better than before, and even before it was one of the best on the market. Really easy to use. You're also able to control the whole device through your cell phone when it's connected, or stream the image to a cell phone. Okay, so I think we came to this last part, which I usually call sweet and sour, and I also added a small part about the competition. So what is sweet with this device? Definitely the build quality, the form factor, the waterproofing and so on. It's really, I would say, on the highest level of all thermal devices at the moment. It's really no other device can compete in terms of build quality and fit and finish and materials and so on. I also like the additional button for the laser range finding module, which works up to 1000 meters. I like the battery solution, because with most other devices you're always scared, what will I do when the battery dies? Well, you will need to send it to a service, not this one. You just buy another battery. And also in the field, it's really easy to carry additional battery in your pocket, and you just do the swap in a matter of seconds, and it works really well. Also, the battery life of 7 hours, it's really long. I like the Stream Vision app, even though honestly speaking there are other devices also that have apps, so this is not so special anymore. And I also really like image quality. I wear glasses, so for me it's really important that I'm able to use this eyepiece, and I am. So it is compatible with all of us who are wearing glasses. And in terms of image quality, with this 35mm fast aperture lens and with this sensor and the display, I didn't mention the display is AMOLED type, 1024 by 768, so a little bit better than on the current XQ models. Well, the image quality is coming really close to the Helion XP50 Pro. It's not identical, but it is close. So in a device which is so compact. I also think that the price is almost too competitive. I'm speaking this about the Pulsar. From the buyer's perspective, it's perfect. 2,790. There is no similar device on the market with the same sensor, with the same lens, with identical image quality. There is no one there, and with an laser range finding capabilities. This device is even cheaper than some similar devices without the laser rangefinder, and it's made out of magnesium, and it's made in Europe, and it comes with really long warranty and so on. So the price point is just unbeatable. When this device was first shown to us, when it was still as a prototype and so on, the price was much higher. So I don't know why they decided to go with a price which is so competitive, but I think that it's really hard to compete with them. Okay, so if we go to sour part, which is also connected with the price, this device is really hard to be attained. So usually with majority of dealers in Europe, you have to go into a waiting line, on a waiting list, and then from 3 months to 1 year you're getting it. So I would say the majority of competitors, they say that they compete with this device because this device is not available, not because they would produce devices that would be on equal level of quality. But still, what could have been done better? First of all, there is no equivalent horizontal range for the laser rangefinder, and there is also no ballistic software. This is something that could have been done better. I also think that NATD of 25 millikelvins in a device like this would be just crazy. Normally the price would be much higher, but it would be crazy. What else could we say that it's sour? If you're a left-hand user, it's not so friendly. So it's basically made only for right-hand users. It's quite sour if you're a left-hander. I also think that this tripod thread here, it's a flaw in design, I would even say. You do get this adapter for a tripod, which you put in like this, but I think this could have been done better. Without the adapter, they should move it here and it will work really well. Not much else is sour with this device. Now when you look at the competition, normally the main competitor which you immediately pops to your mind is infrared finder. It's even smaller, but doesn't have interchangeable battery. It's the fit and finish and the materials are not on the same level. Also the image quality is so-so, it's not on the same level, and it's much more expensive. So I would say the plus of infrared is that it's smaller. You really can put it in any pocket, and you are able to use it with left hand and right hand equally. Everything else is more or less in favor of this Pulsar. Then you have Conotech Tracer, which doesn't offer, at least at this moment, but I'm sure that they will come out, the sensor of this size, but they offer 50mm objective lens. So you are able to compensate the optical performance a little bit with a bigger lens, but it's a much bigger device made out of plastic. It's not on the same level. Similarly, like with infrared, they're not made in EU. And then you have the Hik Micro Gryphon, which is again a little bit bigger. It does have interchangeable battery. It's made out of plastic, not out of magnesium, not on the same level of fit and finish. It does offer similar optical performance. We could argue that Pulsar is a little bit better, but on the other side there will be people who will say that they prefer the Hik Micro image quality, because in thermal devices image quality is really dependent on the algorithms, how the algorithms are made, so that how the image can be perceived. So you will have two camps. Some of them will prefer high micro, the others will prefer Pulsar. But if you put this aside, the Graphones are bigger, they're more expensive, made out of plastics, not made in EU, and so on. So still a lot of things are in Pulsar's favor, and I am waiting for the time when I will be able to say, okay, it's a really tough call to go with either infrared, either HIC micro or Pulsar and so on, but I think we are still not there. Pulsar is still on top of their game, but we will see how long this will last, because I think that competition is a good thing, and it will, I would say, accelerate development in all of these firms. So I think for us, the buyers, this is a really good time to buy thermal, because everybody is fighting really hard and they are getting closer and closer and closer in terms of quality, even though at this moment this Pulsar is almost without competition when you look at the price point. The price point is really aggressive. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this review useful. If you have any additional questions, please use the comments below, and see you in our next video.